The term military analyst is not a legally protected term. It's not like doctor. It's more like economist. You know, any asshole can start calling themselves one and fart out a vaguely plausible opinion on the current situation.
I got a link to this right here. Eric says, Bachelor Pad Economics Challenge. Buy 3 Bachelor Pad economic books and give them to 3 random 19-year-olds at the bus stop. That would be great, man. That'd be great. And then the U.S. became the world's most dominant global economic superpower again. Income per capita of $250,000 each. Hey, look at that. Just because they shared books at the bus stop. All right. Cappy did some actual economic research today. And I have to thank Grok because, oh my God, it made it so much easier. I spent an hour searching for some kind of economic research. I'm like, I wonder if Grok can pull this up. Beat the ever-living hell out of YouTube or Google and Bing. And there it was. I mean, I got exactly the data I wanted. I am very impressed with Grok. Saved a lot of time. Let me go through my thesis here. It was in the shower on the toilet. I don't remember which, but I was wondering, okay, how many times does a negative event have to occur to eliminate a behavior, right? For example, a very black and white simple one would be your little kid, you put your hand on the hot stove, it burns it. It only takes one negative event for you to do that. Let's say you you drive your car really fast over the speed limit. You get a speeding ticket. You're a little bit cautious for a little while and you go back to your bad habits. Let me get rid of this. There we go. You go back to your bad habits. You speed again. You get a second speeding ticket. And by the third or fourth one, you basically make the policy decision. Yeah, this isn't worth speeding no more, right? Drinking, like how many hangovers, how many days do you have to have a hangover? How many nights of binge drinking do you have to go on before you decide, yeah, my limit is 2 or I'm not drinking at all? And I know just through common sense and humans being humans, it's going to vary depending on the individual and what their resilience is to it or what their aversion to risk is. Not to mention their intelligence too. But then also, what are we talking about, right? Like drinking, you're young and man, it's fun. It'll take you years. Some people never give up drinking. Some people like, nah, I'll do the hangovers. That's fine by me. Or they marginally change their behavior. So that's not like a burning of the hand on the oven where it's one and done, like you learn. It also depends on the person. Some people are a little bit slow. Some people don't care. Some people are really addicted to the thing that they want to do. Some people are timid, very risk averse. I don't want to ever do that. Oh my God, this one bad experience. I'm never doing that again. You know, smoking a cigarette and throwing up. But as the entire economy depends on it, I was kind of curious, especially in light that, well, let me pull up my notes here. Look at this, and lots of notes. I mean, this was actually some research. I was like real. I almost did real work today. Felt weird. Where is it? According to some research, what is it? 59% of 18 to 25-year-olds have not asked out a girl in the past year. And 26 to 40-year-olds, it was 48%. So still, most of men of dating age, 18 to 40, half or more, haven't asked girls out in a year. And I was thinking that never deterred me in the past. I've literally asked out thousands. Admittedly, I'm a unique character. I got over the fear of rejection. I just got used to rejection. It didn't mean anything. I'm sure salesmen, like there's salesmen who just don't care about rejection. You keep going on. Some take it personally and they don't want to do the salesman anymore. That's what it is. It's sales. But we're going to need people, right? And you're going to have to court and date. I won't mention which group of people is going to have to change the policy. I'm just pointing it out that there will have to be dating. There will have to be courting. Here's a foreign concept. If you have a dating app, you're going to need dates, right? You guys want to have dating apps? The match group, you guys have all those dating apps. You'd like to make money. You know what would really help you stay in business? Some dates. And this is really this is really going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. I know feelings are more important than the human race. Probably going to have some sex if you'd like to have some children down the road. Super duper hypersonic Ree. Well, we ain't even getting to that. Let's just put the sex aside. That's like way down there, man. Dude, half the dating age guys ain't even ask a girl out on a date. And I got to wonder, back in the days, guys could take rejection. Sure, fine. No guy liked getting rejected. But I don't know if it's lower testosterone, weaker men, the lack of fathers. But men today do not handle rejection as good as men in times past. And we could argue why that is, but it seems to be, especially if half the guys haven't asked out girls in the past year or over half. And I was wondering then, what is the statistical drop per negative event, lowering your chances of making that decision or taking that action a second time, a third time, etc. Right? So, and I'm sure it depends on the severity of the pain. Putting your hand on a hot stove, the pain is searing and hot and very painful. There is a 100% drop you're going to from doing that again. Like it's that painful. You learn your lesson once. Drinking with hangovers, I don't know. What is the average person maybe goes through 3 real hangovers in their life. They say, fuck that. I did hundreds. Some people do 1. That's it. Again, it depends on the person. But there's like an industry average. Gambling, a lot of when I did the research, we're talking operant conditioning. Like, how much will someone lose? What kind of strategy will they employ? If they keep losing, are they less likely to employ that same strategy? Yes. Stock traders, options traders, financial traders, they watch that kind of behavior. And it's kind of interesting, depending on what the action is and how negative or costly the negative outcome is, determines, I'm trying to think of something where, like, for example, eating food out, right? There's a chance you're going to get food poisoning and you'll get it, but then you never really drop below 99%. Like you'll go back out and eat the food. So there's barely any drop in your chances of doing it again. Right? So you're more prone to go out. But what else would be another one? Traveling by plane, like you keep getting horrible experiences traveling by plane, flying. People don't like it. Some people like, yeah, that's it. I flew 20 times and I'm out. So every time you fly, 5% knockdown, and then soon you're down to 0. Like, nope, I'm never flying again. I know a couple who are like that. But I want to know, what is that number? What percent knockdown every negative outcome is it for getting rejected by a girl? Because this is microeconomics. It's the decisions. It's the microeconomics of a decision and the outcome repeated over time that either reinforces or eliminates or holds steady a behavior. I was kind of curious, well, how do we get to the point that half of young men or more haven't asked out girls? So I was trying to find the percent decrease in risk-taking through different academic journals and all that. And god dang, Grog just popped it right the fuck up. And so let me go through some of this stuff here. So gambling, and I'll read the percent chance they will do the action again. All right. Because sometimes they word it a little bit. 20 to 35% more likely to choose a safer option. So that's on average a 25% chance of not repeating the same risky behavior. So there's a 75% chance that you will continue the behavior. It's down by 25%. Stock trades, that's a 40% decrease. So now you are only 60% as likely to do it the next time. And then 60% after that, and 60% after that. It just said, in general, all decision making, a study published by the Psychological Bulletin in 2016, between 60 and 70% people are more cautious. Now, do they eliminate the entire behavior? Do they maybe take in more information and they're a bit more cautious? That's a different discussion. But if we use that, that's down. That's like a 65% drop. That means you're only 35% likely to do it again. And then Grok came up with they did a study, 2011 study There is a 65% drop that once rejected, there's a 65% drop in the chance the guy will ask out a girl again in a week, right? It's like a hanger. Well, you feel better, you're not going to do it. And you build your confidence back up. So this is not static. So it's a 65% drop in that week. So nearly 35% chance is likely to do it again. 2014, social approach. This sounded like not only dating, but being social. They estimate a 25 to 40% drop. I just called that 30. So it means you're only 70% more likely to engage in some kind of social interaction, which would also include dating. So a 30% drop or a 0.7% chance, or I'm sorry, a 70% chance you'll do it again. And then asking girls out in private, if you're rejected in private, some interesting data here, it only drops by 17.5%. And so we could throw these numbers in here. And what I did is I took an average of the ones that were most germane. And we're definitely talking ballpark, right? And it's going to vary based on each individual. I understand that. Heck, I could probably even run the data right now for the low ball one. Hang on, you know what? Let me Libre. Do I have Office Libre? Here we go. No, I don't. Do I have Open Office? There we go. Open Office Base, Impress, Writer. Just Open Office. Let's see what it is. Spreadsheet. So I'll do a best case scenario here just to provide you a range of data. But what I did is I took them and I averaged it all out. And basically, you are 38.5% less likely. The average guy, let's just say, I'm talking the younger guys under 40, because there's no way you get to half of you not asking out a girl in a year. So that is not pessimistic, where there's almost a 2/3 drop in the chance you're going to ask a girl out each successive time. So there you are 38. I'm sorry, you are a third less likely. So there's a 2/3 chance you will ask out a girl again. But over how many rounds? Like, you get rejected once, all right, now you're 30% less likely. You get rejected again, now you're 30% more than you were before, less likely, and it keeps going on and on and on. And after 4 rejections, do you know what the chances are? Assuming it's static, which it is not, but again, over half you boys aren't asking girls out in a year, like no asking girls out. You get rejected 4 times, there's a 1 in 10 chance he's going to ask out a girl again. Now, how long that might be, and if the right girl comes along, I'm sure this is situation and context dependent. But I was starting to look at, like, with these numbers, I'm like, this starts to make sense. I actually kind of do believe that, yeah, over half of you haven't asked out a girl on a date under the age of 40. 9 rejections, now you're at 1 in 100. And then after the 10th rejection, you're practically at 0, because you're talking like 0.3 of 1%. And I mean, you could run it out till forever. Let me do the math real quick on 17.5. So equals 1 minus 0.175, 82.5. Let's do equals. That's 1. So we equal 0.825 times the one above it. Okay, so let's go. So after you ask out 28, oh, whoa, I'm off by a decimal point. You're back. If you ask out 24 girls, you're down to a 1% chance of asking out a girl again. Cappy, come on, that's not yet. I'm aware. I'm just showing you the microeconomic effects of a decision no tree. If you keep getting rejected all the time, like 24, now you'd have to be rejected 24 times in a row. That's unlikely to happen. A girl's going to say yes in there, which may reset it. I don't know if it re-ups, or they were talking about a positive reinforcement and how it changes expectations. But I was sitting there thinking, so if we did the optimal stage, after 4 rejections, you're down to about half. 5 rejections, you're down to half. You're starting to really like, I don't know about that. Now, let me ask you guys this. Whether it's the very optimistic, after 5 or 4 decisions, you're roughly at half. or using the data that's available, which, unless better data comes along. I'm willing to admit the data is wrong or too pessimistic, but where there's a 30% drop or like a 38% drop every time you ask a girl out. The reason I put 4 rejects is because usually only 1 in 5 times are you going to end up on a date. That was the experience I had. I call it the 50-50-25 rule, where a lot of girls would say yes, but then they'd stand you up. And I'd be very curious if you got stood up. Like, if it's one thing to get rejected, right? Whether text, phone, whatever. It's another thing where the girl says yes, you show up, and she doesn't show up. I got to imagine that really kicks the shit out of your motivation to ask a girl out for a 5th or a 6th time. Before rejections, using the data we got, there's a 1 in 10 chance. Now, how common and often is it you get rejected 4 times in a row? You know how common it is? Very. That is a very likely statistical thing. That is that, and I would imagine, and we're not even talking about online dating. I would imagine now, based on going to shoot for my buddy, great one, because I'll ask her. I'm not even asking them out. I'm like, oh, are you single? I got a friend. I remember giving him numbers. I'm like, well, give me my number. Here's a picture of him. Great one's a good looking guy. Never worked. It never worked. He's asked out girls, and using him as a proxy, which I know that's selection bias and all that. I think he's had at least 15 or 20 run-ins, inquiries about dates, never ended up on an actual date. Chad was single there for a while. I'm kind of curious what his expectation. I mean, me, old fogey that I am. Oh yeah, 1 in 5 if you're lucky. You're on your game if you're doing 1 in 5. But today, you guys go and ask girls out, and they're not as filled with testosterone, and they're also more consciously aware of the ramifications of rejection and being embarrassed. They cite, why don't men ask out girls anymore? The number one thing is fear of rejection. Well, to that, the girls are right. You guys should quit being pussies, right? But at the same time, you got to have respect for wasting your time. Have to have respect for yourself. And like I said before about the dating apps, if you're going to have a dating app, you know what you really ought to have? You really ought to have dates. That unto itself also corroborates my pessimistic numbers, which aren't pessimistic, they're numbers. They're realistic numbers. There is increasing circumstantial evidence that corroborates the numbers I ran are correct. Because with the online dating apps, there's so few dates, no one's using them anymore, certainly not men. What's the stock price? You could argue the stock price of these dating app companies reflects men's interest in dating or using them for dates. So hang on, let me take a look. It just keeps going down. Match Group. Stock price. All right. Oof. So is it a peak of 170, and now we're at 30. That calculator's behind the camera. 30 divided by 170. How much interest in dating apps have dropped? Wow, 82%. 82% drop in the stock price, assuming an 82% drop in men's interest in dating, because they're the ones that pay for you. That's where you make your money. Let me grab my charts here. That would an 82% drop. Yeah. An 82% drop in, not in interest in dating, in trying to attempt to date, right? And that's over how many years? That's just a 3-year drop. It does correlate. An 85% drop. If you haven't gotten dates in the online dating apps, you're leaving to where the majority of them have left. And then, yeah, kind of a 1 in 5 number again, we see repeating and showing up again. And so it was really fascinating to me because there's a lot of different variables, and how do you isolate them is another issue. But just having this data here before, running the numbers. Now, keep in mind, this data's from 2011, 2014. I got to imagine the numbers are even worse. Men are even more or less prone to ask a girl out after being rejected. And I'm going to stick with the one I got here Ladies, you probably lose them after 4 rejections. I mean, more so 5, definitely 6. I mean, we can it asymptotes out. There's a tail. You never fully eliminate men's desire to date. I'm gonna say definitely by the 10th rejection. If a guy doesn't get a date after 10 times being rejected, you have 10 negative events, which is probably very common today. That's possible. Guys are out. They're tapping out. And I think this kind of corroborates where you got a rejection rate. I'm sorry, I gotta use the right words. Where there is a 38.5% decrease in the desire to ask a girl out every time per rejection. 38.5% decrease per rejection. By the time the guy's rejected 10 times, he ain't doing it again. And that would explain the phenomenon where over half of dating age men have not asked you out. Half of them have not asked a girl out in a year. I know this sucks. I know this sucks. But if you want a dating app, you're going to need to have some dates. You girls want to find a guy, you're going to have to use this word called yes. Doesn't mean you're married or engaged. And then if you want the PhD level course, ladies, when you say yes, the PhD level course is then you called honoring your word. And then you actually, this is foreign. This is very foreign. Then you do what you said you were going to do and show up on the date. Man, and everyone keeps one Scooby-Doo mystery. Can't figure out why aren't guys dating anymore. You can't get it. You think it's a sensational clickbait topic. No, it's real. Men are losing interest in dating. That's not bullshit. It's we can't figure it out. Oh, they're just intimidated by all the strong, debt-laden girl bosses with the worthless liberal arts degrees. They're just so, it's like, no, I guarantee you if we looked at it, men tried, they got shot down. They probably heard of all their other buddies getting shot down. I'll tell you this, the majority of the time you will be shot down even in good times. That's just the nature of women. They're only fractionally interested. But now I guess we could say with softer skin, the context of the media and the internet and the sex war going on, I'd even say lower testosterone. I think men are dropping out much. It doesn't take as many rejections as it used to back in the day. And I bet you 10 times, guys rejected 10 times, he's done. Your average guy is done. And I know, see, and down the road, women do want to find a guy. Just between the ages of 18 to 40, it's more towards the age of 40. Are they actually interested in finding a guy? They wouldn't mind finding a guy temporarily, but they've reprioritized. They're more interested in career and finance and education and all that other stuff. But ladies, if you want to find a guy, you're gonna have to start telling men yes occasionally. Otherwise, the guys, it's just going to keep going this way, and soon it will be 3/4 of men haven't asked girls out. And I had a client just today, and she wanted to meet a guy. And I asked her, I said, okay, are you looking for the diamond in the rough, right? I know you see the pretty boy Floyd, right? You got your investment banker douche canoe with his Patagonia vest and whatever those morons wear, and doctors and all that. I understand that. But if a guy walks in and kind of, like me, dressed like crap, can you look past his glasses? Can you look past his hat? Yeah, he does have hair. Right. I'd be a perfect example. Someone looking at me, giving me the quick once over would not assume I'm an attractive man. Plus, I'm only 5'9", so people under 6 feet tall can't be attractive. I kid. But the way I'm dressed, the girl would not look past this shabby exterior. Wait a minute, he goes to the gym and he's got an okay, chiseled line, and he's actually quite attractive. Not with this, certainly not with a Bucky shirt, they're probably more focused. Oh, Bucky's, I like Bucky's. Oh, what a fun time. But if you are going to want men to start asking you out when you're ready to settle for them, like say 33 plus, you are going to now have to start there was I know they did experiment with rats and pellets and all that, but they got to win every once in a while. And I think it was it bears or lions, some big predatory animal. They noticed that when the cubs would play, and either it was the dad who was much more stronger and powerful or the older cub sibling, they would let the little cub win. I think it was 40% of the time because, win. Because if the little cub didn't win, it would get exasperated and wouldn't fight anymore. So you would see, the dad roll over on its back and take a loss, or the older cub sibling, bear, tiger, whatever, roll on his back and lose to his younger sibling. And I think kind of the same way with your younger sibling. Like I'm trying to remember, like with siblings fighting, I probably let them win unconsciously a couple times because you don't need to crush them all the time. It's the same thing, ladies. If there is no positive reward and some BF Skinner operate conditioning specialist, I'd love for you to put comments and what you know, especially the statistics of this. But if guys don't get the occasional date or the occasional win, and I'm not saying you got to settle, like, look at the guy, look past it, see if there's a guy you could be attracted to. If you don't start saying yes, the guys are just going to leave like anything else. You go to the casino, you lose 9 out of 10 times. Like, I'm not going to that casino again. And I know for you leaders of the world, oh my God, how do we get the population is crashed? Well, I thought that was good because of global warming. No, it's bad. Our social programs and socialism will go away. Oh, so we do want a higher population. No, environmentalism. I can't figure people out. But if you're really worried about that, the bottleneck ain't the guys. You're paying people to go have kids. I think didn't China come up with something pretty drastic and draconian? Weren't they going to tax people who weren't married? It's something like a bachelor or bachelorette tax. It was something serious, something violating personal rights. If you're worried about dropping populations, maybe don't indoctrinate women with feminism to hate men and boys. Have you thought about that? Or at least not be adversarial towards them. And have you thought about, maybe kind of teach your girls that, well, men can be good things. Have you thought about that? I wish I was being facetious. I'm not. I'm being 100% accurate. You show me where it's like, you should be nice to boys. Show me where that was. I know there's a shirt called Boys Are Stupid, Throw Rocks at Them. I know you got laws that you recently tried to pass, and now it looks like everyone's rescinding where you could discriminate against boys. But really, if you want the population, now this is going to be up to the girls. This is where I'm like, girls, it's kind of upon you. And I understand if you don't want to, right? There's no good guys out there. I get it. You're right. And then I guess we're just going to have a population crash. I don't care. I don't have kids. Man, did I just dodge that like Spike Spiegel? Look at that. But if you are concerned, what's going to have to happen, you can't force women to be attracted to a guy they're not attracted to. I get it. Men can lose weight. I understand. But ladies, you really got to look for that diamond in the rough. Oh, he's a carpenter. Carpenters are strong and jacked. Well, the ones who are sober. Oh, he's a mechanic. Oh, that's great. That guy, look, I know you see the overalls and you see the working safety glasses on and his hat. When he showers up and imagine what he looks like in a suit. That's what I'm saying. And if you can say, oh yeah, like if you take his glasses off and he puts on a fitted sweater or something, he cleans up, would you be attracted to that? Because that's about the only, and will increase your chances, right? I know you girls want served on a silver platter and you better show up in a shiny new car. I know, but it's not working, right? Have you tried looking for the diamond in the rough? Have you tried looking for Aladdin? But yeah, I think we got some pretty, I trust the veracity of these numbers. I think they are in the ballpark, perhaps even more accurate than the ballpark. I bet you men are about between 30 to 40% less likely every time they get shot down to ask out a girl in the future. And yes, you could come back up after they recover from rejection. And in other words, it's not this perfect asymmetrical asymptote going down to zero or near zero. I don't think it's that perfect because things change. You get hope, it goes back. In other words, it's a declining sawtooth. And then after a certain amount of time and rejections, or you just get less testosterone, men have effectively zero interest in asking you out. You got to toss a guy a bone every once in a while, right? You don't deserve a bone. You just want a bone. How dare there's a dog and it wants a bone. You're only interested in bones. Sure the fuck ain't interested in you, I'll tell you that. So some very interesting data there. All right, let's go to super chats. Squishy Plums, $5. Hello, Squishy Plums. Carol Scott, $5. I treat the dating market how employers hire newcomers, laugh out loud. I just let them pick me. However, I have no problem asking women out. Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, especially as you get older, that's the right way to do it. It is such a tiring pain in the ass convincing women to go out with you. I would have saved myself a tremendous amount of time and trouble just being the best I could be. Sure, you ask out girls. If the girl shows up, cool, right? Not like a second date or the girl's really boring. Do you know how many first dates I would have ended probably 30 minutes into the date? Like, yeah, you're not having fun. Let's go. They show up with a friend. Get where, you're trying to talk to them and it's like talking to a brick. All right, fine. Yeah, it's best to let them pick you. You go out, have a good time at coffee or drinks. Don't even try to kiss a good night, man. Say it's been great. Yeah, give me a call sometime. And then then they can text you. Right? Now you got to text them back. I'm not saying, and you're going to have to ask them out. Girls are never going to ask guys out. It's just not going to happen. Despite pounding and insistence, we're all equals. Except in some things, like courage, bravery, math, manual labor, oil rig workers, gas field workers, linemen. Except for that, right? Okay. Just want to make sure. But yeah, you just really save your time. There's nothing worse than trying to convince a girl to like you. She either does or she doesn't. If she does, it's going to go a hell of a lot easier. Wet Willie's Wet or Water, $5. I seriously doubt you would have asked thousands of girls out if 80% were whales back in you. Oh, okay, you know what? Wet Willie, you are correct. That is another variable. You're right. There are not that many. You're right. There are less attractive people in today's world than there was 30 years ago. Outstanding observation. It could be also men are demotivated. I did not factor that in. You're not considering all the data. Nope. Outstanding, Wet Willie. Outstanding observation. But whether it's fear of rejection, lower testosterone, or the girls are just not that attractive, it's still a lower rate of asking girls out each subsequent round or decision node. But you are right. I did not factor that in. You're right. Alex Bogey, $5. When doing cold approaches like in a mall or a park, it on average takes about 10 girls to guarantee one phone number, maybe half showing up for a date. Okay, so now you're looking at, what is that, 5%? 10 girls to get a phone number, 1 in 20, yeah, 5%. That's maybe so 10 girls guarantee one phone number, maybe one out of two. Yeah, so it's 5%. In my day, it was 20%. The majority of girls would say yes to a date. They would not show up. The majority would say yes to a date. The majority would not show up or cancel at the last minute. So now you're telling me, which I presume you've had experience doing, about 10 girls to guarantee one phone number. About right, especially on cold approach. 1 out of 2. So you got to do 20 girls. Do you know how long it takes you to find 20 attractive women in public? And by the time you ask the 5th or 6th one out, the people, the security guards or wherever, they're going to, the communal intelligence and awareness of that area you're asking those girls out are going to start to become aware. Not that you're causing any troubles, but they're going to start like, this guy's a threat. But this is aberrant behavior. Something's wrong. So then you got to go. It's time consuming, man. It's time consuming. Justified misogyny. Quit dating at 28. Pay for play is cheaper and more efficient. It is. It is. I haven't even gotten there yet, but it is. Bob, $5. If the guy is not attractive, I don't know why he will waste time trying to dating or going the lady of the night. Yes, as I've said many times before, be hot or go home. You have to be attractive. You can't be selling a car that only has 3 wheels. You need to be fuckable, right? Both the men and the women. That's why I'm constructively critical of men, like lose the weight. Don't, how do I get the girls? Okay, you're a soy boy, sack of shit. You don't go to the gym. You stink. All right. You got a lot of work to do before you are attractive to women. So don't be trying to sell them a shit sandwich. At least give them a good bacon cheeseburger, right? Let's all aim to be A&W burgers. We all agree those are better than average burgers, right? That's what you should aim to be. And don't even bother asking. That's time that should be spent in the gym and dieting or running. But yes, if you're not attractive, I'm saying if you are attractive, I think Troy Francis, I still think it's like maybe a 30% close rate. That's just a date. That ain't even sex. That's a guy who asks out a lot of girls. That's his job. If you girls are on the fence, right, and the guy's okay looking, what does it cost you to go on the date and have some fun? I remember occasionally there'd be fun times going dancing, just didn't work out. Never understood that. Like, what's so bad about going out? It was like, oh, I don't want to date anymore. This girl's like 21. She's like, I don't want to date anymore. What do you mean you don't want to date anymore? I'm just gonna find a guy to commit to, but I'm not gonna do anything. I'm like, what does it cost to go on it? Like, apparently dating is horrible. It's a painful experience. Oh, there you go. Some more data. So what's the rule? By the fifth time, let's just call it the rule. By the fifth rejection, a guy is very unlikely to be returning to the market and may either permanently be removed from the market or will stay away from the market for a length of time. If I had some research dollars and time and the inclination, I would run different scenarios. Like, how long does it take you to get back up? How long do you stay out of the market? I don't think we need to. I think it'd be a waste of taxpayers' money and research money. But yeah, it's looking like, yeah, ladies, if a guy gets shot down 5 times, don't be asking where, or I guess on the reflective side, ladies, if you shoot down 5 or more guys, maybe there was one guy you should have said yes to in there somewhere. Maybe. I know not all of them are good looking, but maybe there was one guy you should have said yes to. But I'm curious what percent girls say, oh yeah, I shoot down or don't show up to dates 90% of the time, 95% of the time. You take a 95% rejection rate, dude, that you have to go out on 10 days to stand a 1 in 5 chance, or 1 in 2 chance of going on an actual date. You got to ask out 10 girls. And by that time, I think most guys like, nope, I'm done. All right, that's it. Link below. The book of numbers analyze the ROI in the pursuit of women. Some more statistics, helpful statistics there. And then also zero world problems. Doesn't really have much of anything to do with this, but if you are done or you need to take a break, you say, well, what do I do now with all these hours and money? Like, oh, I stopped chasing girls and all of a sudden I got shit tons of time and lots of money. What do I do with it? Get zero world problems and look at all the different economic and non-economic goals and objectives you should have in your life to dramatically improve your standards of living, well beyond what an increase in your paycheck will do. Zero world problems. It's like first world problems, but the problems are even more pettier than that. Zero world problems. One more. $5 from HSD Kadvard here. Kapu, I appreciate it if you did a bit on why antisocial personality disorders are on the rise, but particularly in women. Because it's not a real disorder. People are just spoiled. They don't have their dads. People are becoming, look, are there legitimate cases of many and different types of mental disorders? Yes. But parents not being the parents that they should be today, broken families and all that, you have an instance where your kids are going to misbehave regardless, not a mental disorder necessarily. You just are shitty parents. You're not participating parents. And because they're not participating parents, any slight problem with the children can possibly be the parents' fault or fuck up. No, you must be the depressed. You must be the antisocial. You must be the bipolar disorder. Also, there's tremendous pressure among young people that to be edgy and different, right? You got to have a mental disorder. Or I'm totally not this. What is it? Like 1 in 5 Zoomers claim not to be straight. The fuck out of here. That's an insult to gay people or lesbians or people who aren't straight. You're faking it. It's like a fashion accessory. It's the same thing with the mental disorders. Uh, it it is not an actual increase in mental illness. It is, what would it be? Lying, hypocritical people faking it or claiming they have it to have an identity that they didn't have to work for, and a lot of times to excuse atrocious fucking behavior, to continue treating people like shit. I had a girl who claimed to be anorexic and bipolar. No, she's just a vile, evil woman who wanted to treat people like shit. That's all it was. So I don't believe for a second, really, 90. If you're 50 years old and you fought in like Iraq, okay, I kind of believe it. If your name is Bipsy and you're from Winnetka, and no, you're just a spoiled pain in the ass and you're faking it. Or you're so weak you think anything that doesn't go right is somehow a mental disorder. I get a kick out of the guys, Cappy, I ain't got no life. I can't find a job, I suffer from depression. I'm like, no. If your life was going great and you still suffered from depression, that'd be a problem. Your life sucks. You should be depressed. That's normal. Your brain is working normally. It sucks, but your brain is working normally. Yeah, that's why. Because here's why antisocial personality disorder is on the rise. Because it's popular to have one. There it is. I explain it. And all you fakers out there, just do it for free. Give me that and disability checks and attentions. And oh my God, I'm disabled. Fuck you. You're assholes and you're insulting people who actually do suffer from mental illness. All right, that's it. See you guys later. Toodles.